The successful men I've studied all drop these 8 habits early. Most guys never let them go, and that's exactly what keeps them stuck. I've seen how dropping these habits changed my life even at 18. Well, let's start with the most common one. And if you see me looking down occasionally, I'm just checking my notes to ensure I don't miss anything valuable. Habit 1, reactive technology use. This is basically when your technology or your phone or your device is in control of you rather than you being in control of it. And one thing I see is that a lot of us now, we can't honestly and genuinely say that, I have control over my device. Some of us, including me back then, if you take my phone, it feels like, the world is about to end, everything that you don't have anything to do with your life again. Some of us can even relate to this when you were younger. If your parents want to punish you, what they tell you is, I'll seize your phone. And for some reason, that is enough motivation for you to do whatever it is they wanted you to do. And thinking about all these things, maybe when you're walking, when you're just going about your day, some of the times you reach out for your phone, you don't necessarily want to do anything with it, or you didn't necessarily have anything in mind you wanted to do with that phone. And one thing I've noticed from successful people I've been watching, I've been studying, is that they use their phones. Not that they are not like special people that they don't use their phones at all. They actually use their phones. Some even tell you, I scroll on TikTok. Like, it's not that they don't scroll, or it's not that they do anything special. But one thing I've noticed from them is that they're able to use their devices intentionally. They have the money to hire assistants, hire people that can manage all those things for them. But based on our level, you watching this video, you might not necessarily be at that stage where you can hire assistants to deal with all your messages for you or all your inbox. But one thing I have been able to take from them and apply to myself, and hopefully you can apply to yourself, is being intentional about your phone use. I can say 12 to 1 is my phone time. That time I can check messages, I can scroll social media, whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. So I'm not necessarily saying that if you want to scroll, don't scroll, or if you want to do this, don't do this with your phone. I'm saying you can do this, but I just want you to do those things intentionally, not subconsciously. Habit 2, comfort zone addiction. And this is basically avoiding anything unfamiliar, challenging, or uncomfortable. This is you wanting to stick with, something that is safe and easy. And a lot of us do this, and actually I don't blame you for wanting that. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? When you are not feeling uncomfortable, to me personally, you are not necessarily growing. When people say they want to do something that they don't want to do, you start hearing things like start hearing excuses like, that's not for me, that's not my passion. And to be honest, sometimes that excuse is valid, but sometimes you really need to ask yourself, am I running away from something? Because one thing I noticed is that most people that say they have a passion, or whatever the case may be for you, is most likely that you've done something to the extent that it just ended up becoming your passion. When I was much younger, videos, camera, I hated it. That time I didn't like taking pictures. Just sometimes I just struggle and take. But most times I didn't like to do video, I didn't like to take pictures. But now, look at me. If you ask me, do I like doing videos? I'll say yes. But that was not because I thought doing videos was my passion or anything like that. Because I've done it so many times that at this point, it is just, I don't know. I won't say I'm very good at it, but I'll say I was better than I was when I started. So that one thing I'll just advise you guys out there is that a lot of your growth that you're looking for is behind that thing you fear the most. Habit 3, waiting for motivation. And this is basically relying on motivation instead of discipline to get important things done. A lot of us, when we're young, we have this response to things like, why didn't you do your homework? I didn't feel like it. Why didn't you do this? I didn't feel like it. And we've carried that response now to our current stage. Some people are comfortable with whatever they're doing now, and that's fine. When you're watching this video, you have big goals, you have big places you want to get to, people you want to help, that feel like it statement has to reduce a lot in your life. And how you build skill, how you build knowledge in all these things is through consistency. And from my experience, motivation does not help you build that consistency. Discipline helps you build it. One thing I've noticed from successful people is that they act based on priorities, not feelings. You rarely hear things like "I feel like" from their mouths. It's based on what do I have to do and how can I make sure that I get that thing done. And one thing I've noticed for myself is basically limiting the amount of mental stress before I do something I don't want to do, and also when I do it. Especially tasks that you don't want to do, tasks that require motivation, gym, doing that work that will get us closer to our goal, but we don't feel like doing that work. I want you to place them at times where you feel the sharpest, when you have the most energy. For me, that's in the morning. I place it in the morning and try and eliminate, that space of micro decisions, that space to ask myself, should I do it? Will I? Those small questions that, will start making you second guess what you want to do. Let's say you want to go to the gym. You can prepare your clothes down a night before, get everything set, laid out. So when you wake up, you just pick your clothes and go to the gym. Rather than waking up, maybe you struggle to even get up from the bed. You start thinking of, where's my gym clothes? Is it even clean? Is it this? Is it that? Before you know, you just like, oh, I'm not ready today, I'll go tomorrow. And that's how that thing starts building, and you miss out on that goal, miss out on that big thing you want to achieve for yourself. Habit 4, short-term thinking. And this is basically choosing what feels good right now over what's best for your future. And this is basically where the instant reward and delayed gratification comes in. I usually tend to ask this question, do you want to work now and enjoy later, or do you want to enjoy now and work later? No doubt both of them work. It's just a matter of you making a decision. If you choose to work now, most likely something has to go. There are going to be trade-offs. If you choose to enjoy now, there is going to be trade-offs. A lot of us, are looking for this so-called balance. You want to achieve this big thing, but you also want to enjoy this other thing at the same time. So on both sides, there's no like this person made a better decision, this person made a better decision. So for some people that choose to work harder now, they get to the end of their lives and wish they enjoyed better or they enjoyed more. Some other people that chose to enjoy now, sometimes some of them get to the end of their life and they wish they worked harder when they were much younger. Now, I can't necessarily guarantee whichever case will be for you, but I would say I want you to feel comfortable in the decision you choose to make. I don't want you to look at it as you're having to, sacrifice, you wish this. And as I'm trying to find a simpler way to say it, but it's still basically you sacrificing something to get another thing. And also, it also depends on how important is it to you. Is that goal you want to achieve very important? If it's not important, go ahead, enjoy yourself. But if it is very important to you, I suggest anything that will stop you from pursuing that big goal, pursue that big dream you have for yourself, please and please and please kindly cut it off. And a question you can ask yourself, day to day as make decisions is, would my future self be happy if I did this thing? Habit number 5, inconsistent sleep. And this is basically staying up late, sleeping in, and constantly changing your sleep times. A lot of us, when we're young, some of us had strict parents. 9 a.m. is when you sleep. Some of us didn't sleep whenever you want. And on both cases, for those that had strict parents that said 9, they're happy now that they don't really necessarily have to follow a parent. They can sleep whenever they want and wake up whenever they want. But like I said, if you ask the question that we asked in the previous habits, which side are you on? Are you working hard now or you enjoy yourself now? If your answer was you're working harder now, sleep should be something important to you. Because I've noticed this for myself. When I don't sleep enough, when I don't sleep properly, and I try to work, my focus is very low. Those are the times when, I feel like I suddenly want to eat something. I want to grab my phone every 2 minutes as a mini break to gain my focus back. And I'm just saying, we hear it a lot online, but we think it's just people talking. But I feel those people actually know what they are saying when they say sleep is important. At least for me, I've noticed it. When I sleep well, I have energy to do the important stuff I need to get done. When I don't sleep well, when it's time to do those things, that's when you start hearing that statement of my motivation is down and different things like that. So one thing I'll just say is that try your best. If you can have a consistent sleep time, if you can have a consistent wake up time, you sleep at 9, you wake up at so X time. Stick with that even on weekends. And as much as we see it as something that we might not necessarily care about now, I'll just say in any little way we can, let's try to prioritize it. Habit 6, blaming circumstances. This is basically pointing to external factors when things go wrong instead of taking responsibility. All over the world is like the president is this is doing that. The president increased tax. You start finding yourself in politics. Your parents did this to you. That is why. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel they are all valid reasons, but then it might not be your fault that whatever happened. But it is definitely a problem. And one thing I want us to do is that you can recognize that I have this problem, and this might have been what have caused it or what caused it. But then what I want you to do now is that I want you to ask yourself, what did I do to get myself in this situation? You might look at it now and say, my parents didn't make too much money, and me too, I don't have money as well. You can decide, you can continue whatever your parents have done, or you can tell yourself, I want to be the change that's going to create a whole new different thing for myself. Ask yourself, what can I do today to make my situation better? You think you're not in good shape, what can you do? You can start by going to the gym. You can start by literally going to the gym. You might say, I don't have money to go to the gym. You can start in your house. Push-ups every day. There's something you can do. I just want you to stop using people or whatever might have happened to you as an excuse. You can't keep using that excuse for the rest of your life. So from today, when anything happens to you, good, bad, not so good, not so bad, ask yourself, how did I contribute to this situation? If it's bad, how did I contribute to this situation? Identify that. How can I make it better next time? Habit 7, consuming versus creating. This is spending hours scrolling, watching, and reading, but almost no time actually creating. How I see this, or I was, a grand ambassador of this. When I first got into this journey, I started getting into, at first, before that, I was still in the consuming versus creating. I was consuming content, reading books, watching videos, self-improvement videos every single day. But then I was not taking action on any single thing. And that's when you start to notice that you are not actually, you're just basically consuming. And to be honest, that's what literally made me start this YouTube channel. It was basically from, I'm learning all these things. Here is a way I can share what I'm learning. And it does not have to be, you have to create a YouTube channel. You can share what you're learning through creating a product or creating something that can help people. That is you still share your knowledge. You don't have to create a YouTube channel to be able to create something. Because one thing I've noticed from successful people is that most books they read, they don't just read books for fun. They read books based on a problem they are currently struggling with. Let's say they are struggling with, how to maybe do public speaking. They read books on public speaking. But as much as reading is very good, reading then turns to just entertainment when you don't apply anything from it. So if you read a book on how to, develop your mindset or how to, manage your money better, I want to see you after watching that video, after reading that book, applying what you learned? Are you drafting a budget out? Or do you have, morning affirmation statement you say to yourself? Those are the things I want to see you guys doing after consuming content. So for this, the action step I would say for this is anything you watch, whether a video, whether a book, it doesn't have to be 10 things you pick from it. What is one thing you pick from after reading that book, after reading that chapter, after watching that video, like apply in your life now to help you get better at that thing you're struggling with? Habit 8, sticking with same friends. This is basically hanging with the same people from your teenage years, even if they are holding you back. When you're younger, a lot of us making friends, some of us didn't even make friends that much. But one thing I've noticed is that when you are into your self-development journey, as you grow, most likely the people you have at your friend group, you start hearing things like you've changed, you're not the way you used to be before, and some of us take that personal. But one thing I've learned is that is just them saying, you are getting better. Sometimes we want to do something, but because that doing that thing is odd in our friend group, maybe reading, maybe you have friends that they see you reading, they're like, Jesus, serious boy. That alone might discourage you and be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want them to make fun of me. I want to say, if you're making statements like that, that just tells you are in the wrong group. The group I want you guys, especially if you're aiming to grow, the group I want you to be is a group where you enter and you feel like the lowest person. Because if you're in a group and you are the person at the top, there's no room for growth. Most times, you see things like, when you want to buy an expensive car, you hear you can't just buy it, you have to have built a certain relationship to be able to buy that kind of car. That is basically what is happening in this case. So that period when you're hustling to get those skills, that knowledge to help you get into that group, you will feel lonely. And I want to let you know that that's okay. But most people, cheer for you when you just start doing something. When you start, like me, when I started doing my YouTube channel, a lot of people, wow, good job, good this, good that. But now I'm in the middle, or I'm on that journey already, far into that journey at this point. And those kind of things, you don't see them anymore. Be okay with being by yourself. Be okay with building yourself, knowing that those friends will come. So I want you to take a moment, maybe after this video or during this video, you can pause it and ask yourself, the friends I have now, are they pushing me forward or are they holding me back? But here's the real challenge: actually developing the discipline to break free from these habits. This is exactly why I created this video. It picks up right where this one leaves off. Remember, the path is yours to walk, and as always, I'm in your corner rooting for you.